Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fluently Forward. Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about Reese Witherspoon because she's topical. She basically dressed up again as Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, and she announced at some sort of like Amazon event that there is going to be a TV series, a prologue to Legally Blonde that is going to be streamed on like Prime Video. She is going to be working on it, and it's going to be called Elle. And it's going to follow Elle Woods as she is in high school. Look, I love it. I love the nostalgia. Like, everybody loves Legally Blonde. Everywhere from like the nobodies like us to people like, Ariana Grande, etc., who are incorporating it into their music videos. And I feel like nostalgia is so fun. If you listen to our episode all about the sisterhood of the traveling pants, like that's a movie I would want a third of. Bring me back that nostalgia. Now, it looks like Amazon is really kind of putting why was I going to say pussy? But like they're really putting their pedal to the metal, basically, when it comes to video. They also announced another TV series at this event, which is going to be kind of like another prequel show based off of a movie, and that is Tomb Raider, which I love. Lara Croft, like any hot woman who is wearing those short shorts with like the gun holsters around her thigh. Like, don't even get me started. I'm allergic to peanuts, and sometimes I think I should have my EpiPen like with a garter around my thigh because, I'm not going to have a gun, but like something about the garter thigh with like a weapon / EpiPen in it, I just think it's like the sexiest look. So I'm excited. They're giving the people what they want. There's some companies that kind of give you what you want. I feel like, Netflix gives people what they want. They recently put Sex and the City over on Netflix. I feel like Amazon does give people what they want. You know who doesn't? Instagram. What's going on with Instagram? Have you posted a story lately? Because every time you post a story and you want to add maybe a sticker or a link or music, it pops up with like 50 different options of features to add into your story. And one of them is food ordering. Like you can order food on Instagram. Like, they're going large. They're going way too large. But anyway, let's get back to Reese Witherspoon. So real quick, before we dive into her, just a little bit more about this show. It's going to be called Elle. Like I said, it follows Elle Woods in high school. And at first, I got really excited because, like I said, Reese Witherspoon, she did the whole pink Elle Woods outfit when she came on stage to present this. She had her dog. She did a little bend and snap. And for a second there, I went, Hollywood is going to turn everything on its head, and Reese Witherspoon is older than she was in Legally Blonde, and they're going to have her playing her high school self. Like, I love that. What a little, flip. But that's actually not what's happening. Of course it's not. Like, she's 40 something. She should be playing a dead person, a corpse, somebody who maybe is a ghost who came back to haunt people. That's like Hollywood age for women. But we don't know who the actress or what the cast is going to be for this. We just know that Reese Witherspoon is going to be involved. She's getting kind of more into the producing world, things like that. Who is slated for this role? The internet has some ideas. There is one pop princess that everybody is saying needs to play Elle Woods as a high schooler. I'll give you a second to guess. It's Sabrina Carpenter. And I totally see it. Like, she has the blonde hair. She has the short, petite stature. She has the I am girly and I love it and I'm not ashamed of it. And I love being a girly pop and wearing platforms. And why was I going to say like sucking a lollipop? I don't know why. I could just see Sabrina Carpenter putting like a lollipop in her mouth. Is that like disgusting? I don't know why. Okay, whatever. We're just going to move on. So people are also saying maybe this movie would have this TV series would have some singing in it. Even if Sabrina Carpenter isn't in this series, maybe if they do a movie musical of Legally Blonde, she should be Elle Woods in that. So it's just what the internet is buzzing about right now. All right, now let's do a little intro about Reese Witherspoon. There are some controversial things about her online and some rumors that I've heard. We're going to talk about it, but I like her. I like Reese Witherspoon. I like her smile. I like the work that she's done. I like how she's focusing on books. And you can tell, like, even since she was a kid, she's been a huge book reader. And everyone who's a member of that book club of hers, they're like, you can tell it's not some sort of lip gloss that a celebrity is slapping their name on. Like, she actually reads these books. She really cares about it. I feel like she cares a lot about her craft because she's involved in all aspects of it, from acting in it to picking the scripts, with all of these books that she's turning into media pieces, to now producing. But speaking of celebrities who do slap their names on stuff, she has a clothing line, and I don't think she's slapping her name on it. The clothing line is Draper James, and I think that it just it's good clothing. It's Southern. It's a little preppy for me. There's some stuff that I wouldn't wear, but it's like classic, classy stuff. She's been doing it for a long time. She's still working on it. There was a video where she was singing along to the lyrics of Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, which, by the way, interesting, isn't it? Last week, they also followed each other on Instagram. Was it because of Espresso, or is it because somebody's going to be in a new Elle Woods TV series? Who knows? But anyway, and in that video where she's singing the lyrics to Espresso, it looks like she was doing some sort of photo shoot for Draper James, because in each shot, she's like in a different outfit and there's lights around her, whatever. That was just what I thought when I saw it. Okay, so a little bit about her. Her name is actually not technically Reese Witherspoon. It is Laura Jean, or Reese Witherspoon. She's an actress. She's a producer. She's won everything and she's been in everything. Like, she is way more impressive and busy than I would have thought. She's gotten an Academy Award, an Emmy Award, 2 Golden Globes Award. She was named, of course, all of those lists, the most influential people, the most powerful women. But recently, last year in 2023, she was named one of the richest women in America with an estimated net worth of $440 million. And I feel like she's kind of like a hidden blonde sleeper agent when it comes to that. There's a lot of people like that. Like, we think of big balls money, right? Like, you think of Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk when it comes to billionaires. When it comes to rich women, you think of Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, somebody who's in our face all the time. But there's a lot of people, Reese Witherspoon, Kristen Bell, these people who have a wide resume of work, and it's not just acting or singing. It seems like when it comes to a celebrity, how you get rich is having that business octopus by basically expanding out with your tentacles. And that's why Rihanna is so rich, because she has the makeup line. And that's why, Reese Witherspoon, she's an actress, but she's also a producer. She also has a clothing line. It's all about extending out those tendrils to really give you that hefty net worth that honestly is just obscene and nobody should have, but whatever, that's how you do it. So there we go. Like I said, she does have her own production company. It's called Hello Sunshine, and she's done everything. I mean, we're going to talk about the movies that she was in, but now she's also been in Big Little Lies. She's been in The Morning Show. She's been in Little Fires Everywhere, which I don't think was as good as the other two, but whatever. And shockingly, I know of some things that she produced, like Where the Crawdads Sing and Daisy Jones and the Six, but she also produced Gone Girl, and I didn't know about that. I'm obsessed with Gone Girl. I think it's fantastic. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it too, Margot Robbie, another blonde actress who started as an actress, but now is getting into that producing realm and kind of starting to work with all of that. So Reese Witherspoon, she is a Southern lady, and her parents were kind of young when she was born. She was born in Louisiana. Her father was a student at medical school. He was born in Georgia. Her mom was from Tennessee. She's just very Southern, and she leans into it, right? That's what Draper James, it's kind of a tongue twister. Her clothing company is all about Southern items, which I guess, yeah, because there's Northeast preppy, and then there's Southern clothing. And in the Venn diagram, you would have maybe a bright colored frock dress or something, you know what I mean? Or you would have one of those dresses that has the collar, but it's not always the same. Let's just say Draper James, I looked at some of the clothing because I was like, oh, this could be a fun episode. I could buy it on ThredUp and show her clothing. It's very neon. It's not my color season. It's not muted. But anyway, speaking of things that are Southern, I saw that her parents are still legally married, but they separated in 1996. So I was like, I don't know much about Southern culture. I went to school in Texas, but I'm like, that kind of seems like a polite Southern thing to do. No, we're fine. We're fine. But we are separated, but we are still legally married, but we haven't spoken to each other in 30 years or something. So who knows? She got her start in acting. She was in a commercial. I think she was modeling a bit. Then she was in The Man in the Moon, Cruel Intentions. She just shot up through the stratosphere. And the first few movies that she was in, she was kind of typecast. And she talks about how she struggled with this. She says, Because the character that I played was so extreme and sort of shrewish, people thought that that was who I was rather than me going in and creating a part. I would audition for things and I'd always be the second choice. Studios never wanted to hire me, and I wasn't losing the parts to big box office actresses, but to ones who I guess people felt differently about. I do think, she has been typecast. She does play. I'm thinking of like Cruel Intentions. I'm thinking of Legally Blonde. I'm like, she does play someone who you would want to introduce them to your mom. They probably have good handwriting. Like when I look at her character, that's kind of what I think. She's not playing the Angelina Jolie types, okay? And we could do an entire episode on typecasting. I'm actually going to write that down as an idea. But that's just kind of, I don't know, like she's just got that look, doesn't she? I mean, she was in American Psycho, which is like a crazy movie, but she played his like trophy girlfriend. So even when she's in these like dangerous, edgy movies, I feel like she is kind of typecast as that. So obviously then she was in Legally Blonde, which was huge for her. And she then went through a divorce, which we are going to talk about very soon. Ryan Phillippe, they got divorced in October 2006. And she said later in previous interviews that her career kind of floundered a little bit after this. She said that she, quote, spent a few years just trying to feel better. You can't be very creative when you feel like your brain is scrambled eggs. She said that she thought at that time she wasn't making things that she was passionate about. She was working, but she wasn't all the way there. And it was clear that the audiences weren't responding to anything that she was putting out there. So it seems like she took a few years to kind of reset after a divorce, which I would do the same. But then she got right back to it. More movies. She started her production company. She's doing morning show, right? Like Apple TV, HBO, all of these different items. You have to read through her Wikipedia. The woman doesn't sleep. Like, it's really crazy. I read a lot of these Wikipedias for each episode that we do. She really amazed me. She probably has about like 4 times the resume than most like A-list people that are on here. So personal life-wise, she met Ryan Phillippe at her 21st birthday. They were engaged a year later. They got married a year after that. They have 2 children together, which, by the way, their children are now kind of like teenage, young adult age, which is just fascinating. We're going to talk about that more when it gets into the blind items. The fact that all of these celebrities we grew up idolizing had children, and now their children are about to become the next era of stars. I'm just like, how crazy is it that we live in a world where like Suri Cruise is like going to have an Instagram one day, and Apple Martin / Paltrow, like she might be in a TV show. That's just like, whatever, that's getting older, but that's like crazy to me. So anyway, they ended up separating and then divorcing for irreconcilable differences. This was a little bit interesting though. It seemed like some stuff went on in the divorce where basically they didn't have a prenup. I mean, they met each other when they were so young. Reese requested that the court refuse spousal support to Ryan Phillippe, and she asked for joint legal custody, but then sole physical custody of the 2 kids. And he filed for joint physical custody, but he was like, that's fine. I don't need any spousal support. So their marriage ended officially in 2007, and they both shared joint custody of the children. I am so happy that she was able to not give spousal support to him because, the amount of rich that she was in 2006 compared to the amount of rich she is in 2024, right? That's the year that we're in, is like an astronomical difference, like astronomical. And I've just heard that even when they were together, she was more popular than him. She was like bigger balls, had more money. He didn't like that. We're going to talk about it when we get into the blind items. So what did she do after? She dated Jake Gyllenhaal from 2007 to 2009. And then in 2010, she was dating Jim Toth. Or Toth, but I'm going to say Toth. He is a talent agent at CAA, big talent agency, and she was a client there. So then they ended up getting engaged that December. They got married the next year, and they had a son together. Now, they recently did get divorced, and this was pretty interesting. I mean, they were together. They were married for 11 years, but in March 2023, they announced their divorce. So they put out a joint statement, blah, blah, blah. And what I find interesting is that allegedly there were news articles saying that their marriage crumbled after her husband left that job at CAA for Quibi. Do you remember Quibi when they were like, it'll be like TV shows, but like on your phone and like quick, and it'll be like TikTok kind of like for videos. It failed massively, and apparently it was kind of a riff in the relationship. So today's episode is brought to you by Ouai. You've heard me talk about Ouai hair products before. I love them, and they've got a new product out right now. It is an anti-frizz cream. It provides immediate frizz control that lasts for up to 72 hours, which is great because at least for me, my hair always gets much more frizzy when it's the hot, humid summer months. So you can check out their new anti-frizz cream and add it to your hair routine. They also have a bunch of their best sellers that I also love. Detox shampoo. I love a detox shampoo. I honestly can't believe that they're kind of new to the market, because the way that as a kid I always had buildup in my hair and I just didn't know you could get rid of it. I love the Ouai detox shampoo. And they also have hair gloss. I feel like sometimes your hair is a little bit down in the dumps and you don't know what it needs. It's usually dull. Needs a little bit of shine, so you can check out the Ouai hair gloss for that. So you can frizz-free up your schedule with Ouai. Go to theouai.com and you can enter the promo code FLUENTLY, which will get you 15% off any product. That's theouai.com with the promo code FLUENTLY. So he left his position at this agency to join Quibi. And at the time, allegedly, she asked him if it was worth the risk. And he said he was up for the challenge and he felt confident that he would bring home millions. Obviously, it failed. It went under. So who knows? Don't they say, right, that like the main reasons for divorce, it's either like money or not talking about money. Finances is just like a huge whatever. I don't have the stats. I just know that it's a big deal. Now, when they were together, you've probably heard about this. On April 2013, Reese Witherspoon was arrested and she was charged with disorderly conduct. And this was after their car was stopped when they were driving home from dinner. And he was stopped for suspicion of a DUI. And there's like a car camera or body camera. She starts like yelling at the police officer, and she goes very much like, do you know who I am? Like, how dare you talk to me? Like, no, I will not.
Ma'am, what did I just tell you to do?
I'd like to know what's going on.
He's under arrest. If you don't get back
I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm allowed to stand on American
Actually,
ground and ask any
like
question I want to ask.
Go ahead. Come on.
You better not arrest me.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you kidding me?
No, I told you.
I'm an American citizen.
I told you.
Do you know my name, sir?
Don't need to know.
You don't need to know my name?
Not quite yet. I'll get that
really?
information.
Okay. You're about to find out who I am.
That's fine.
It sounded bratty and bitchy. So after that, because that was like a big deal, she ended up going on, I forget what it was, but it was some morning talk show to do an like apology tour of like what happened and to address it. And she's so good at like, she just has that face and voice that makes you trust her. And you're like, oh my God, of course. Like, I understand. Like, she just has something deeply like friendly about her, I think personally. But you know me, I'm always like a sucker for the linguistics. And I noticed that in that apology tour, her like, because you know, her PR team, her legal team probably tell her like, here's what you have to say, blah, blah, blah. And she said, she was like, it was like completely like my fault. It was like such a mistake. I'd never do it again. You know, we were out to dinner and, you know, we had an extra glass of wine that we shouldn't have had.
It's one of those nights, you know, we went out to dinner in Atlanta and we had one too many glasses of wine. We thought we were fine to drive and we absolutely were not. And it's just completely unacceptable. And we are so sorry and embarrassed, and we know better.
And in my head, I just went, something just tells me it wasn't a glass of wine, but that's the right phrasing. Because if you say, I had an extra beer and I wasn't supposed to, beer makes you think like low class, like alcoholic, crushing beers in the basement, like frat party. It just has those connotations with it. If you said, I had an extra cocktail, that goes hard alcohol, liquor, you're getting fucked up. Maybe it was a double, you're a total booze hound. But a glass of wine is so like, oh, it's just a glass of wine. Like you have that on the porch. That's like what moms drink together, like blah, blah, blah. There was just something that kind of went off for me where I was like, was it really a glass of wine? Maybe it was an old fashioned, but I'm sure those people told you this would be the best way to phrase it. So that way people think it's not a big deal, which it is. Whatever. I don't know. Just anyone who has a DUI, like I just don't understand ever, especially when you're rich, why you would ever drive under the influence. And it's gotten really bad too. Like, even if I'm just out sober, like on the weekend, I hate driving at night because there are tons of people on the road. I feel like more so now than ever. And maybe it's because the Uber prices have gotten like way more expensive than they were a couple years ago. But there's just like a lot of dangerous people out there. Be careful. Everybody be careful. All right, so let's dive into our blind items because come on, this is what I was really curious about. The minute you give me a celebrity and you're like, she's a nice Southern lady, I'm like, okay, well, let's head to the blind items and like see what the fuck is going on. Okay. Ooh, this one was fun. Golden Globes. This A-minus list actress from an acting family, allegedly Elle Fanning, says that she was pressured by a former co-star who is an A-lister to take one of the A-lister's children as a date. Our acting family actress, allegedly Elle Fanning, said that the pressure was texts and emails and even calls. So people are speculating that either Angelina Jolie or Reese Witherspoon was all up in Elle Fanning's case, being like, take my son with you as a date. Take him, take him, take him. Which is interesting. I feel like it might be Reese Witherspoon because she took her son, Deacon, I think is his name, Deacon Philippi, to the Golden Globes. And apparently there was a pre-party for it on Saturday, and allegedly Deacon Philippi was, quote, hit on by this celebrity reality star athlete entertainer who is twice his age. That same actor offspring probably got 50 new female friends and phone numbers last night. So obviously I had to look up Reese's son, Deacon. He's 20 years old. It looks like he wants to get into music. He's doing some music stuff. His dad, Ryan, is on record saying like, our son wants to get into music, and he's cute. Like, he's got the cute, like, prep school boy hair, kind of like Nate Archibald type of hair from Gossip Girl. And just the fact that Reese brought him to the Golden Globes makes me think maybe she was pressuring Elle Fanning to be like, oh my God, take my son as a date. Although wait, isn't Elle Fanning like way older than 20? Okay, she's 26. Doesn't Reese Witherspoon know how Gen Z is about age gap relationships? She would get torn apart, you know? But I just find that interesting because I think some celebrities look at their children and they're like, I don't want you involved in any aspect of the entertainment world. And then some other people are like, come on, honey. Oh, I'll be in your TikTok. You know, it's just, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another blind item from the Golden Globes says, at a pre-party Saturday night, this permanent A-list actress who seemingly executive produces a dozen shows, allegedly Reese Witherspoon, got drunk in public for the first time in forever. For the first time in forever. What if it was Kristen Bell? She did have to convince a photographer to delete a photo of her. A photographer. Am I okay? A photographer. A photographer to delete a photo of her holding champagne. She hates those kinds of pictures. That does kind of sound like her. I do, and look, maybe it's all the typecasting, but I do believe that she's type A. You don't have a resume like hers without being organized and caring about your image and having your shit together. So I could see that. God knows when I'm drunk, I'm like, nobody posts those photos online. Now, what I found interesting about this blind item was the phrase, seemingly executive produces. What did they say in 30 Rock where like executive producer is an easy fluff title that you can give to someone? I think it's interesting because being an executive producer, I'm sure that could mean spending an hour on a project or like 1,000. If you know more about the industry, let me know, but I just feel like it kind of runs the gamut there. Okay. This A-plus list, mostly movie actress, always uses her own paparazzi for photos. She got busted by someone who wasn't, and she was ticked. She tried to make sure that the photos wouldn't be published, and she failed. Yeah, I mean, she gives type A energy to me, and honestly, I'm envious of it. I wish I was more type A. People who are type A, they get ahead, you know? Another one that could allegedly be about drinking. This former A-list actress turned TV star needs rehab but doesn't want to go because people will judge her. Now, that's allegedly about Reese Witherspoon. Who knows? There was just a few blinds about her drinking, but like everyone drinks. I don't think that she would need rehab. I just don't get that vibe. But the idea of not wanting to go get help because people will judge you, I do think that's very Southern. We have some creepy age gap ones about Ryan Phillippe. It says this A-minus list actor should probably be B-plus list, but his fame keeps him artificially high on the list because he is an ex who is higher on the list. Our actor, Ryan Phillippe, is hooking up with one of his children's best friends. And that would be the child that him and Reese have together. They have a daughter. I think her name is Ava. She's so cute. She looks like a mixture between Reese Witherspoon and Hilary Duff. She's like the cutest thing I've ever seen. That's the creepiest blind item I've read in a while. But there's another one kind of related to it. It says, for the longest time, this A- list actor was clean. The only reason he is A- list is because of who he used to be married to. The only really good gig he got in the last decade disappeared because of his drug use. He is using again, and he has a much, much younger girlfriend. Someone said she is 18 or 19. Yeah, that's just so gross. I don't know. Let's do a little bit of a palate cleanser, quite literally, because this is kind of a funny blind item that's allegedly about food. This isn't as scandalous as our typical blind items, but it's still a little naughty, so we decided to keep you guessing. This multi-talented actress likes to brag about her Southern cooking skills. She often hosts luncheons for her close-knit group of celebrity girlfriends, and they rave about her famous ham salad. What her guests don't know is that her secret ingredient is baby food. She combines jars of Gerber pureed ham with cubed pieces of deli ham and some relish, and her unsuspecting guests gobble it up. That's the reason she refuses to share her secret family recipe with anyone. How do we know? One of our sources is connected to someone on her staff. We can't help but wonder what her fancy A-list friends would think if they found out that they've been feasting on baby food. I had a friend who used to eat baby food, like right out of the jar, which like texture wise, I could never do that, but there are good nutrients in it. And it's like, if you want a healthy thing at the grocery store, go to Whole Foods, get some baby food, grab one of their spoons, and you could just eat it. What is it about baby food? Like, it is just food ground up, but like the idea of eating it is like so nasty to me. There was an alleged blind item saying that this foreign-born A- list actress turned judge, which would be Sofia Vergara, is in a feud with her actress former best friend, which would be Reese Witherspoon, who she accuses of stealing a sponsorship deal from our A- lister. I don't know what the sponsorship deal is. All of this is alleged, of course, but yeah, if I was Sophia, I would be mad too, because it's like, Reese Witherspoon, you're fucking loaded. You don't need one more sponsorship deal. You executive produce all of these things. You star in all of these things. You have your clothing line. You have your baby food casseroles. Like, you have all of this stuff, let me take a little shot at it. This is a nice blind item up here, though. It says, this A+ list actress gives away 85% of the profits that she makes from all of her non-acting endeavors to charity. The other 15% she gives to her employees. She makes tens of millions of dollars a year outside of acting. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the business tentacle. Like, I'm sure she makes an ass load of money. And that idea that like the bulk of what she makes, she keeps for herself, but like any additional endeavors she gives to charity and to her employees. I like that. I think that's sweet. For some reason, like maybe I'm just getting hooked in by like a pretty face with a nice smile, but like I do think that she's a good person, other than the video of when she got pulled over for the DUI. Okay, we have here the SAG Awards. This A+ list dual threat actress. Dual threat. Usually that's like singing, dancing, acting. But I don't know. Maybe they're talking about producing or reading books or making a ham casserole. This A+ list dual threat actress had to wear a backup dress. She calls it a food dress. When she doesn't starve herself for days on end prior to an event, she wears the food dress. And I feel like that is just relatable. We all have those outfits that when it's like the week before your period or it's like after the holidays or, life happens, you're like, this is my safe outfit. This is my security blanket outfit. It looks good on me. I don't have to be, tucked in. I need to have more of those outfits. I have a lot of clothes in my closet that I'm like, ooh, after I have diarrhea, I could wear this one. You know what I mean? Like those tight knit dresses. Anyway. Okay, and then the last blind item here is one that I have talked about a lot before, but like I just love it. I think it's so funny. Apparently, allegedly, there is a lot of doctors who, administer Botox, of course, but They are specializing in feet, and they will inject feet, not for wrinkles of the feet, not to keep your feet youthful, but because it numbs the nerves so that way you can wear heels for hours on end, which, I mean, when these people go out to events, they're wearing heels for hours on end. And this blind item alleges that the celebrities who do this are Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Aniston, and Sofia Vergara. Anyway, so that's about it. I only wanted to pull recent blinds for Reese Witherspoon because for me, I'm always caring more about what people are up to right now. But if you ever want something deeper on her, maybe back when she was dating Ryan Phillippe, let me know. But I am just so excited for this Amazon thing to come out. Like, this is what the people want. I do want to see Elle Woods in high school. And I just hope that they do it right. Because if you guys saw the Mean Girl, spin-offs, they're not done right. And what was so fun about Legally Blonde was that she was a woman, Elle Woods, who had all of the makings of somebody that you would want to slap across the face, but she was so likable and engaging. And this was before the whole concept of being like a girl's girl was a thing. This was kind of, it was out in a time where being a pick-me girl was like way bigger. Like you wanted to be, which by the way, maybe that's kind of a little bit of her influence in producing Gone Girl, but Legally Blonde came out in a time where it was cool to like drink beer and wear like low-rise jeans and like just be like one of the guys. Like that was cool. Being a girl's girl was like really definitely laughed at back then, way more than it is now. So I wonder if when they remake this and it's her in high school, maybe there'll be some aspects of that tied in. What they can't do is tie it down and what do they call it? Like in Mean Girls and the remake of Gossip Girl, it's not whitewashing, but it's like nice washing or like mean washing. Like they're having everybody be super nice and PC. And if somebody insults someone, it's like, I think you're a bad person. Like I think you're problematic. And it's like, be mean, be cunty. Like people in high school are cunty. Oh my God. Like the way that girls in middle school are so vicious, like make it realistic. People are mean, things get messy, people get their feelings hurt, people say awful things to each other, and then you get to have character development and something move on. But I feel like people are kind of afraid to go there nowadays. So instead, there's like less character development, there's less of a plot movement because there's no big, real bad thing to vanquish. Everything's just like so tiny because people are scared to go there. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's a little bit about Reese Witherspoon. I feel like she'll be around for a while and she's now an eligible single. So maybe she'll be dating somebody soon as well. So thank you for listening to this with me. If you want to go check out our Patreon episode this past week, we did a great episode all about the psychology of stan culture, what makes somebody a stan, and why stan culture is rising right now because we're at the pinnacle of social media taking off, paired with the loneliness epidemic taking off, paired with mental health issues on the rise. It's just making this big cauldron of soup for people to like go crazy and really dive into celebrity worship in a stan-y way. And something interesting that I found in the episode is the people who have the craziest stans, they're always singers. You have the Barbs for Nicki Minaj, you have the Lambs for Mariah Carey, the Beehive for Beyonce, the Swifties for Taylor Swift. You don't really have like, what's a fan name for Margot Robbie or Emma Stone or Meryl Streep? Like they don't have stan names. They don't have fan names. So there's less people obsessed with them. They really go after the artists. And something else that I found in the episode was that somebody else who is a public figure that has tons of parasocial relationships around them are pastors. Isn't that fascinating? Pastors, artists, and podcasters. So I think there's something about like the audio experience that maybe makes you feel way more connected to someone than viewing their content, if that makes sense. So it was really fun. We even did a little bit of a deep dive into history, the fact that people used to be kind of parasocial with gladiators and how obsessed the Romans were with gladiators, the legends of them. Then we take it to the monarchy, then we take it to Beatlemania, then we take it to the current day. So it was just a fun episode if you want to check that out. And of course, FluentlyForward.com/merch. That is where you can get your merch if you want any items with very much in love, hello, hello, or floozy on them. We have jean jackets, we have button downs, we have tank tops, we have crop tops, we have long sleeves, we have hoodies. we've got everything. Everything is upcycled, thrifted, vintaged, and screen printed, so you can get any type of unique item that you want. So thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you next week for another episode of Fluently Forward. Bye, guys.